and I wanted to thank you on behalf of the parish and the priests of St. Elizabeth for signing up to be an altar server. This ministry is really important. We thank the parents also for guiding the youngsters to the ministry. So this is your training DVD. Please remember to watch it frequently, and especially if you're a new server, you should watch it before, the day before or the day of when you're coming to serve at Mass. You should do that for at least 6 months, because I know that you'll need the refresher. It'll help your service performance while you're at Mass. So this location that I wanted to show you is called the chapel. When you come in from the main church area and you're coming through either door, doesn't matter, once you reach the doors, you need to settle yourself down into a quiet mode, because there could be people praying in here. Okay, so before Mass there could be people in here praying, and then right after Mass ends there could be people praying in here. So you need to, whenever entering this area, quiet yourself down and walk a little more slowly, just to be respectful of those that are praying. Whenever we enter the chapel, we know that the tabernacle sits in front of the glass windows. The tabernacle is the house of the Lord. All the consecrated hosts that are not distributed for communion are placed in the tabernacle, and it is always locked. I'll show you where the key is later, because one day somebody may say, "Yeah, I get into the tabernacle for the hosts." Because this is a very special place, I call it, the tabernacle is like God's house. To be respectful, we always approach into the chapel, and before going into the sacristy, we always give a small bow out of reverence. Turning to my right, here is a very important switch. This switch will turn on and off the microphone to the priest. So I'm going to turn it on, and you should hear kind of a clunk, and you'll see the red light go on. That means we have activated the speaker. So after Mass, it's really important to, when you're coming back in at the end of Mass, getting ready to change into your street clothes, you need to look at this and turn off the switch if the light is red. This will prevent the entire church area from hearing the priest. If they forget to switch their microphone off, everyone can hear their conversation. So this is a backup in case the priest has forgotten to turn off his microphone. Then we help by turning it off this way. It's now on. When you get ready to start your Mass, if you notice that it's not on, turn it on. So now I'm entering the sacristy. Okay. So now we're in the sacristy, and there are important places that you need to be aware of, things for storage, things for notices. So we'll start here on my left. Okay, so this is called the bulletin board. All of the English Masses and their assignments are here on the left side. When you receive your schedule, and that will be mailed out every 3 months, it is very important for you to be reading this section called the special notes. What's contained in the special notes are things that I notice people are not doing, or things that people could really improve on. So that's why I call them special notes. Just kind of like scan these, especially if you're a new person. There's a lot to remember. So these are the highlight duties, techniques, procedures that you need to really make sure that you follow up on. If you don't understand one of these, you're supposed to be coming to a team of 3. Ask your other 2 veteran servers, can you tell me what number 8 means? I don't get it. And then we ask that you come 20 minutes before. So that gives you plenty of time to ask a miscellaneous question. When you come at 20 till, the first 10 minutes should be, you sign in your name to tell me that you're here. You take a look at who's serving with you so you can get to meet new friends. or realize who's supposed to be coming to dress out with you. That tells you also like, uh-oh, it's time for me to leave to go out to the vestibule, and Elaine's not here or Philip's not here. Okay, so this will give you a little heads up of who your serving team is. So they're in order: 5 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9:30, 11, and 6 o'clock. And you just sign your initials to tell me that you're here. If you're subbing for someone else, this is the procedure. You're supposed to cross off the person's name and you write in your initials. So on this day of June the 1st, Timothy Bradford got a sub. His name was Nico Crosby. Now, if there is a name of someone who's missing and nobody ever called you, but you're a dedicated altar server and you know that you're supposed to come in here all the time to check to make sure there's teams of 3. So let's say only 2 people showed up. What you would do is find the 3rd person who's missing. So, for example, where's one? Okay, here. Here's a name. His name is Justin Maley. His name is not crossed off. However, KB, the initials are here. That means Kendra served on that day. She wasn't scheduled. She filled in for this spot here that was missing, Justin Maley. I track that, and if I start, I track how many people are missing that didn't get subs, and then I start calling them. Are you okay? Do you need help? Is there a problem? Is there a conflict? So I do look at this very carefully. So please, when you come in, I want to give you credit that you're serving extra times when you're not on duty. So I look for those people who are, really doing over and beyond their assignment. And then I track who's calling in for servers and who's not. So please be sure to sign in your initials there. Over here, across from the bulletin board, there are pens. And Dan Macheski made a really nice sign that says altar server, so that's where pens are that you can use to sign in. This is where I would leave notes for you, or where you would leave notes for me. So it looks like someone brought me this A copy of a DVD, but nobody wrote me a note, so I don't know who left it for me. I'll have to go back and look at my sign-out. But for example, this folder is really important for people who didn't show for altar server recognition. They're supposed to come in and pick up their items from here. If there's a special notice, if there's a special permission slip, I would put it here in this general area of the counter. Okay, these books are very special. Sacramentaries in different languages are here. There's a sacramentary in, for example, Missa Romano. This is the sacramentary for Spanish-speaking priests. So you kind of have, this is where a book would be needed if a priest asked you for it. Okay. If you were coming to help for a funeral mass, there's some notes on here. If you were part of an incense team and you forgot your notes, there's some notes here. If you forgot the dress code, here's some notes here. There are other groups that occupy the bulletin board. The Hispanic group, the Vietnamese group. So if you need to leave me a message, you could put it on the counter or put it on the bulletin board with, in an envelope. And of course, be sure to call me. Okay, so this first area with doors is important. It's not usually used by the altar servers, it's used by Eucharistic ministers. This is the area where they would clean the Mass vessels, such as the communion bowls or the communion cups, anything that needs to be washed out that had already been blessed needs to go into the sacrarium. That means this sink goes directly to the ground. It doesn't go into the sewer system like your home does. Your home sinks go into the sewer system. So because whatever they're washing has been holding or containing something that's been blessed, it needs to go directly to the ground. So that's why this is a very special sink. On this shelf, you'll see the vessels that are used for washing of hands, our bowl and our pitcher. These are small cruets that are used during daily mass for it could be for wine, it could be for water. This is a tray that's used during a weekend mass. It contains the wine cruet, the base and its topper. This contains, this could also be used for water or for wine. And here's its topper. So often on the weekend masses, this vessel is used for wine. But this one is also appropriate, maybe for a smaller mass because it'll hold less wine. These crosses are not for service, those are for Eucharistic ministers. This is regular water. Okay. Before I go any further behind me, I did want to show you where the holy water is kept. So if Father's blessing a car, or you need to fill up the holy water bucket, this is the tank that holds the holy water. So you can just lift it up and see there's holy water in it. If you needed to return back excess holy water, you could just pour it back into here. And then of course you dispense it from this little spout. Okay. These are light switches. Generally you don't have to worry about those because mass leads of the day will turn on all the switches that go to the outside lights. Okay, let's look in this closet area. This closet area is for storage. So these are hosts that are not blessed. These are the special oils that have been blessed, and they're labeled baptism oils. This is the holy water bucket of which I just spoke. Now, you'll see that there is water here. So if it were too full or you needed more, you would know now where to go get it from the tank. Just be careful when you're returning it back and if there's water there. You don't want to spill it. Okay, this is the incense boat. This is and there's incense in here. Just to let you know it's. For incense usage, we have charcoal lighter, gloves for when we dump the hot coals at the end of a mass. These are the actual charcoal briquettes with the tongs that are used for when we need to have fire and heat for incense usage. And this is called the turable or censer and its stand. Now, Hugh is here with us. Hugh is an altar server, veteran altar server. So Hugh, would you show for us from the closet the crosses that are worn by an altar server? Okay. All right, so you'll see that they're knotted and with leather cording. If you ever have a cross that becomes broken or untied, just set it on the counter, which is right over here. Leave me a note. You ever have to leave me a note? Here are paper and pens. And then, of course, give me a call. And my number is always on the assignment sheets for each of those mass times. Okay, Hugh, will you show them an alb? Okay, so is that the size you wear, Hugh?
Yes.
Okay, so you can see that the alb has a tag. Hugh wears a size 18 alb. They are supposed to be inserted into the closet in numerical order from lowest on the right to highest on the left. So Hugh, can you just scan those? Are they in correct sequence?
Yeah.
Okay, so so that means the servers who have been wearing them have been responsible enough to make sure that they're placed back in the right order. It just makes it easier for when you come in and get dressed to start your Mass. You'll know exactly where the 14s or the 8s or the 10s are. Okay, thank you. So now would you show them the cinctures? Okay, so you'll notice that he's pulling out a green one, which is used most of the weeks of the church calendar year. But each one of those hangers has been tagged. So the colors, there's like a hanger for the green ones, a hanger for the red ones, hanger for the purple ones, and they're all labeled. Which color goes on which hanger. Okay, now Hugh, if you could show us the pillow. There are some servers who are on the shorter side. So, thank you, when they sit in the chairs outside, their feet would not touch the ground. And it's very normal for people whose feet don't touch the ground. When they sit down, they're going to start swinging their legs, which can be very distracting for themselves as well as the people in the community. They could just start down watching the server who's swinging his legs. So, this pillow is to be used by any server whose feet do not touch the ground. And it has a little label here. It says altar server pillow, tag side down to seat. That means you wouldn't put it like this. This is your seat. This is up, okay? Tag side down means like this. Okay, just so and that's okay. So when you're ready to use the pillow, this is your chair, right? You just sit it here, tag down to the seat, and what's doing is it's going to push you forward so that your feet can touch the ground. It's pretty comfortable. It's up to every server whose feet do not touch the ground to get the pillow themselves and return it back to the closet at the end of the Mass that they serve. Oh, here, put that back. Thank you. Now, when servers, if you could look in this bench area, when servers come in, they could be bringing with them a sweatshirt, a jacket, purse. The benches are where you would leave your items that you're not going to be wearing for the Mass. So one of the servers today is wearing a size 16 hanger. So to make it easier for themselves when they get ready to change back into their street clothes, they just put the hanger right with their own personal belongings. So again, that's a really good tip to get you to find your hanger quickly at the end of the Mass. Okay, let's go over to here. Again, we're in the sacristy. This room is called the sacristy. So these drawers contain the cloths, altar cloth. So this one says purificators. That's what these are. They are all generally the same size, but they may be embroidered different. They may be decorated differently, but they're all called purificators. The purpose of a purificator is like a cloth for drying. So it would be used for, say, Eucharistic ministers, when distributing wine, it would be used by a priest, when needing to dry off his chalice, when he gets wet. Also in this drawer, these are called corporals. Again, corporals are made out usually of cloth, and they can be decorated in different manners. They're always squarish, okay, whereas these are more rectangular. Purificator, corporal. Okay, then we have it here. Okay, in the back of this one, if you're ever serving a Mass where you need to wear gloves, and that is usually the Mass where the bishop is presiding with the priests of our parish, you need to wear gloves. So there are 2 pairs of gloves here because usually that's the number of servers that will need to wear gloves to assist the bishop. Okay. What I don't see in here, which normally the to be there, is the larger corporal, which covers the whole entire altar, but it's not here. We do have spares. So I'm not sure where the Altar Society keeps those now. This says humeral or funeral pall. So a funeral pall is what covers the casket, is the cloth that covers the casket when a funeral mass is being held at St. Elizabeth. These are just other miscellaneous cloths that are used. This one is special. If you're serving at a mass where there's adoration of the Blessed Sacrament, this is called the humeral veil, because the priest would wear it like a stole instead of, and this is called a monstrance. It contains the Blessed Sacrament in the center. Okay, this is a monstrance, so this will open up. You will then put in a small circular visible object inside that holds the Blessed Sacrament, which is in the host that is now becoming the body of Christ. Okay, so that's called a monstrance. So when a priest is walking with this in procession, he wears this stole. He doesn't put his bare hands on this monstrance. He uses the stole as a covering for his hands, and then he wraps his hands around it, and then he walks in procession. So they wouldn't wear gloves. They use the stole. I'm sorry, it's called humeral veil. Humeral veil. It's in your glossary. Let's see. The other three drawers are not really for our servers. This you would need to know. Again, this is where pens, scissors, paper for notes. Here you see the two priests of St. Elizabeth, Father Justin, Father Joseph. So if there's something personal he asks you to, like, get his microphone or put away his microphone, it goes in this drawer. This is Father Joseph. This is important for you to know. If there's any kind of spillage, you need these if for washing of hands, if someone didn't put out a towel. It says here, clean towels, clean towels. What towels are hung to dry? Out in this basket. Okay. Purificators that are wet. Great sign here. Purificators to be laundered. They should be dried out first, and so that's why they're hung here on the perimeter of the basket. And Altar Society member will then come and do the laundering for the parish. Kleenex, if you ever need Kleenex. Okay, let's go into here. This is the first place you should come if you haven't washed your hands and you're going to be an altar server. Because you're going to be touching things that are very holy, special, so we don't want you to be touching them with grimy hands. So this is a small restroom. Okay, so it only has a toilet and a sink. So for sure you would wash your hands here, and if you need to use the toilet, you can use this one here. Okay, continuing over here, this room is a storage, and the only thing you would really need in here for your altar server would be if the candles don't light. That would be the 2 ambo candles and the 2 altar candles. For some reason you can't get them lit. You'll see that these 2 boxes contain a liquid. And these little tubes or canisters have like butane oil. So when we're lighting candles in the sanctuary, we're not lighting wax candles. We're actually lighting the liquid that's inside this canister. So you'll see that Dan has them labeled empty and full. Okay, so please return the canisters to whichever box is appropriate. That's really the only thing that you need to know about this closet. Now over here in these drawers, there is a special drawer for us, Brenda Wong altar servers. So inside it are extra gloves if we need it for a ceremony or something. Juices, and it says altar server emergency use medical. So if someone perhaps didn't have breakfast, if they may be diabetic, they need a sugar immediately, that's what these juices are for. For people with long hair, there are rubber bands. They're not reusable, so you need one, use it, take it home with you. And there are also bobby pins. And the hair ties and the bobby pins are for use by either boy or girl. No one's supposed to have hair hanging from the side of their face, okay, or in their eyes. Again, they're not reusable, so take them home, don't put them back. And I think that's it. The only other thing from here might be if you needed a candle, and you don't want it to blow out, you're in procession outside. These are toppers that sit on top of your candle and prevents the flame from blowing out. These are the toppers. Okay, I think we've covered everything here. Again, this is storage area. This is the sacristy. Over here, these are vestments worn by the priest. If there is a visiting priest, it's in this closet. Vestments for visiting priests. This is the alps closet. So the door to the alps closet should always be closed at the end of the Mass. After you change back into your street clothes, you should be closing the closet door. I want you to see how neat and organized Alps closet would look like. This is very neatly done. All the tags are in order from lowest to highest in size, 8 all the way through 18. And if you need, you're really growing tall and you need a 20, it's just on the other side of this door. But again, the facing left, tags in sequence. If you needed to fold your sleeve, because remember, you must always show your wrist bone when wearing your alb, don't let it come down your hands, then unfold it as you place it in. Remember to always keep the zipper all the way zipped up. Have the shoulders sit squarely on the hanger. A good technique is just with your left hand, press against the albs in front, place your alb inside, open it up so that you can hang straight. Oh, and then did you see this? Here's one on the ground. It's our responsibility to help other altar servers. So if we see something on the ground, we should pick it up, try to find a hanger. In this case, it's the 14. We don't have a 14, so then what you would do is you would find a hanger from here at the top. You would hang it up neatly to prevent more wrinkling. If it were very dirty, very wrinkled, and it's not presentable for wearing, then you would fold it neatly, place it on the counter, and call Mrs. Wong. Because my numbers are always on the sign-in sheets. So here's a 14. I didn't see a 14 hanger. All the hangers should always be looking like this. Place it where it would normally go with all the other 14s. I'm checking that the zipper's all the way up. The sleeves are folded straight. Place it back within the other 14s. And then I call Mrs. Wong. Mrs. Wong, I found an alb on the floor. I hung it back up in the closet, but there was no other black 14 tagged hanger. Could you take care of it? And then I'll come in and I will replace this hanger. But never change the size on a hanger. You see an empty 8, do not change it to 14. Call Mrs. Wong, and Mrs. Wong would make the new correct size. So please, try to keep the closets looking just like so, very neat and organized. Thank you. That's good. Here we have Adrian and we have Elaine. They're already dressed out as if they're ready to serve. So, these are the things I want you to always check yourself after you think you're all dressed and ready to go. Okay, so the first thing is you want to make sure that your cord of your cross is under your hood. Okay, now turn, Adrian. Okay, so again, same here. Now one thing to notice is see the knot from his cord? It's right in the center of his back. So that means then your cord for your cross will be knot free. There's no knotting here to be visible. Okay, their cincture, which is for this attire, they've chosen green, which should be center left. So their left leg, right in the center of their left leg. Okay, now one nice thing, see how nicely the ends of the cincture are pretty close to matching. Oh, Elaine did a good job. Hers is really matching. Okay, so when you're tying your cincture, it may take you maybe 2 times before you make sure that your ends meet. This is how it should be neatly tied and worn. Okay. If you could put your hands on your side. Okay. Now, this sleeve length is appropriate. This sleeve length is long. So you would want to fold your cuff so that your wrist bone is always showing. Okay. So some of the albs are a little bit different in sizing. You as a server will continue to grow every month, every week, every year. So you need to just watch the sleeve length because that's usually the biggest problem. So again, you want to look very neat and well groomed when serving at the table of the Lord. So it's very important, just as the priest does the same thing. So your cincture. Now let's talk about the alb. Okay. So as I mentioned, you're going to be growing every week, every month, every year. So the size that you wear, for example, Hugh, we said is going to be an 18. Well, next February he may now have to go to a 20. So please always make sure that you're watching the length of your alb. So both of these youngsters here have chosen the right alb, and it's a really good length because it's just supposed to go right on the top of your shoe. Okay, not real high, such as like this. Okay, so you can even see the person's socks. Okay, it's just to the top of your shoe. If you're in between like say 16 and 18, the only way to try and adjust that is to blouse it, and like here Elaine has a nice smooth alb at her waist. But if it were like really, you're in between sizes, you're not a 16, not 18, I wish we had a 17, then you would just have to pull it up like this, and it would then cause this to rise. Okay? Or if it then becomes too much of an inconvenience for you to blouse it, just keep wearing it, the shorter one, but please be watching the length, overall length of your alb. These are laundered by once a month. So please make sure you put them in the closet. And when putting them back in the closet, you want to again put the number in numerical order from lower to higher value. And this is the zipper, face it left. Okay? So that it's easy to pull out, unzip. Okay? So these are pretty much, okay, so for example, here's one. It's facing right. Okay, so it's incorrectly hung. So to make the closet be correct, I would have to take this off, turn the hanger around, reinsert it into the closet with the zipper facing left. Okay, and we need to change some of these hangers up too because they don't have labels. So we'll work on that. It really helps us if you guys, the servers, can kind of keep monitoring it at every mass time. Then it's forever neat and clean and in order. Please remember, if you're the last one to change clothes after a mass, please close the door. Okay. All right, I think we're ready to go out. Before leaving the sacristy for the start of mass is this area here, the mirror. just like you when you're getting ready for school, you want to spot check yourself in the mirror. Make sure that your, the leather cording on your cross is under your hood. Is your cincture in center left? Is your alb the length of it at the top of your shoe or close to it? Okay, so please always look in the mirror.